Okay, I think I'm live. Am I live? I think so. If you're tuning in, just drop us a comment to let me know that you can hear me and that I've done this. I haven't done a YouTube live for a while. So yeah, just let me know if people can hear me and it's working. I think it is. But yeah, welcome if you have joined me. Thanks for coming along. We're going to go through some of the bits on the channel, some of the bits I'm working on. Um, and if you've got any questions, put them into the chat. I've already got some questions that people have sent me via Instagram and some other bits and bobs, which I'll kind of go through. But I'm assuming people can hear me. If you can just comment and let me know in the chat, hopefully you can. No one's saying you can't hear me, so I'm guessing you can. The last time I did a live stream was like a long time ago. So yes, sir. Lovely. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. There's a bit of a lag. So yeah. If you do leave a question, I will answer it. Okay, great. Well, I'll do the questions first that people have sent in, and then if you guys have got anything that you want to kind of ask as we're doing it, then we'll go for it. I have, of course, got a little dram. It's probably not. I was going to say it's early. It's never too early, is it? So I've got a Aberlour single malt. I'm a bit of a whiskey snob, so I'm gonna have a little sip of that. Before we start, that's good stuff. That's smooth. Okay, so first one is from Instagram, and this is Lansing Lurfer, which is fishing. So they've put, will Britain's Hidden Fishers be airing on TV? For those of you that don't know, Britain's Hidden Fishers was a 1 hour documentary that I made, and I'm trying to get it on the telly at the moment. So weirdly, it's going to be shown in Poland. It's going to be shown in Germany. I've not got a broadcaster for the UK yet, which is frustrating. But we are working on it. I'm with a distributor. Because I'm working with a distributor, that means that I'm not allowed to show the film online, because a lot of people have said, well, why can't you just put Britain's Hidden Fishers online for people to watch? So I can't do that because I'm with a distributor. I can do screenings. So if people would like to see the film at a screening, I can arrange that, whether it's a fishing club, local club, whatever. We can do stuff like that, but I can't do things like that, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, so we're trying to get Britain's Hidden Fishers on the telly. It's just taking a bit longer than I would have liked. A couple of these are some DMs I got. So one of them is, how do you film fish, which I get asked a lot. So I don't want to give too much away because it is my job, but there's a few ways that I do it. So I snorkel. I used to scuba dive. I had a back injury, so I don't dive anymore. But I used to scuba dive quite a bit. So I snorkel. I do a lot of remote triggered camera work. So, geez, my beard is bushy. I'm just realizing this light. It's a beard that a badger could fall in love with, isn't it? But yeah, I used to do a lot of that sort of stuff. So remote camera is what I'm mainly known for. I do a lot of remote camera work, placing cameras in rivers, hooking it up to a laptop, and that's how I film the fish generally. So lots of different ways. Aquarium as well. I do a bit of an aquarium, which neatly brings me on to the next question I got sent in, was, how's my fish tank doing? So I don't know. This will probably cock up the live stream now. I'm going to try and show you my fish tank, and also not spill my whiskey, which would be really sad, wouldn't it? So yeah, I've got a native aquarium here, native fish. It's at night at the moment, so the light's off, but I've got some perch in there, got some rough, got various bits and bobs in there. Yeah, the tank's doing well. I'm really happy with the tank. I am potentially going to switch it up soon. I'm thinking of putting a big shoal of minnows in there. I'd love to get maybe a dozen, 20 or so European minnows. I think they'd look great. I'd love to have pike in there, like a really baby pike. The problem is it's getting hold of them small enough that they would live in the tank, and it's also feeding them because they eat like crazy. But I might try and get a small pike for the tank. But my next thing that I'm going to do is minnows. So I'll take the perch out, take the rough out, and then I'll put a load of minnows. I think they'd look pretty good in the tank. The other thing, if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, a lot of people were asking, why have I changed the name? So it used to be called Jack Perks Wildlife Media, and now it's called Chasing Scales. And I've done that to kind of reflect um, what I want to do with the channel. So I really enjoy YouTube. I've been doing lots of content recently. I've got loads more planned for it, and I just felt that Jack Perks Wildlife Media sounded a little bit clinical, whereas Chasing Scales has got a bit more of a ring to it, and it's the sort of thing people can hopefully get behind. And I also wanted to add more fishing content. So there's a species hunt on there, which some of you might have been watching, where I've been going around trying to catch 100 different species of fish in the UK. I think it's like 17 episodes out at the moment. There's three more. Then I'm gonna have a little break and then come back, because obviously those films, I love making them, but they take a lot of time and effort. So I will be making more, but I like to kind of batch them up. So over this summer, I've got lots of plans to go to lots of very exciting places and catch some weird stuff, and make some videos, which seem to have done well. People seem to like that. I guess I'm a little bit different how I do my YouTube, in that I tend to pre-record. I tend to pre-schedule stuff months and months in advance. So, for example, my my YouTube videos, I've got them all the way up till November this year. I haven't got to make any new content before then. So I'm way in advance, which is different. Most YouTubers tend to do it much shorter than that. But because YouTube's not my full-time career, I make very small amount of money from YouTube. And my day job is a wildlife camera out, so I need to kind of concentrate on that in the summer, and then in the winter, that's when I kind of edit videos and do all that sort of stuff generally. The other thing is people asking about the podcast, the Bearded Tits podcast. So that has just finished. Like, so again, I do kind of series of that. It's a podcast that I host, Nature Podcast. It's all on iPlayer. It's on iPlayer, iTunes, Spotify, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to listen to past episodes, there's loads out there. So that will be back, but not for a while. So I think the Bearded Tits podcast will be back probably spring next year. So a good year or so, just because I love making the podcast, but it's there's only so many fingers and so many pies that I can do stuff like that. So I will be doing more podcasts, but not for a while. I'll probably pre-record a few as and when. I'm just going to check the comments. So what have we got? Will there be somewhere I can watch Britain's Hidden Fishes? So yeah, I mean, I did kind of mention that earlier in the stream if you didn't catch it, but yeah, Britain's Hidden Fishes will be. Hopefully, we're trying to get it on the telly. It's difficult. It all's really down to the distributor. The thing with wildlife telly at the moment, which I don't want to bore you all with too much details, but what TV is in a bit of a crisis at the minute, and it's really hard to pitch things to television in a post-COVID environment. So trying to get a documentary on the telly is tricky. We were talking to Channel 5, so we're hoping that Channel 5 would take it up. They haven't said yes or no yet. It is available in Poland and Germany, as I mentioned, but not here. So the only way that you can see Britain's Hidden Fishes at the moment is via a screening, which is a bit frustrating. But that's the only way I can do it with the distributors. They don't allow the distributors don't allow online screening. So I'd love to do an online one because I'm sure that would get lots of attention. But yeah, the idea is that we're just going to do it that way. I think the only confirmed screening is I've got one in Scotland in Granton-on-Spey, so up near Inverness, and that's in November. There probably will be other screenings before then, but if they happen, I think there's one in North Wales as well. Actually, I can't remember the date off the top of my head. So yeah, there will be other screenings for Britain's Hidden Fishes, but not yet. Sorry, have a little sip of the magic juice. So yeah, I'm going to try and concentrate on YouTube a little bit more. I've been really enjoying making YouTube videos. It's something that my personal target is to try and get to 20,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. And I think that sort of puts me into a position where I can concentrate more on it. At the minute, as I say, I can't go full time with YouTube just because I've got other things to do, basically my day job of filming wildlife. But I'm enjoying making the videos, and people seem to enjoy what I've been doing. So yeah, that was the main kind of points that I got sent in via some DM. Oh yeah, there was one last thing. What was that? What's next? So what am I working on? I've just finished a book on freshwater fish. Well, freshwater fish and marine fish, a field guide. So I've been working on that for the past year. 200 species covered in the book. Really, really excited for that. We're kind of designing it at the moment with the publisher, and it'll be out next year. So writing a book takes a long time, but that'll be really exciting. And I'm why that one's being done. I'm also writing another book about rivers, which is very exciting because rivers are very topical at the moment. And as much as I like to kind of push the positive side of rivers, they're what's the best way to put it? Knackered, I think is the polite way. They're not in a great way. So I'm not shying away from that, but we're trying to kind of show it all. So I think that was basically all the stuff that I got sent in. So unless there are any questions people want to ask live, uh, that was that was it. That was a very short live. Well, that was been 10 minutes, I guess. But yeah, if there's any questions, pop them down below and I'll answer them now. Otherwise, I'll love you and leave you, I suppose. Well, I won't love you, but you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, I'll have a little sip of this. That's going very, very quickly. Um, so Bait Addict has put, is the book linked to fish biology and ecology? Yeah, so it's a field guide. So the idea is to kind of a gateway drug, if you like, into fish identification because there are already some very good field guides out there, and they're very very technical. But I think if you're just getting into fish identification, it can be a bit daunting. So what I wanted to do with my book is it's a gateway drug. Like you can pick up this book. It's very easy to read facts and figures, how to ID these fish. It tells you where you find them in the UK, how big they get, what color they are, what species they're similar to. So it's everything you would need to know. And it's also photos rather than illustrations, which illustrations are normally used in field guides. But seeing as I'm a professional photographer, it seems silly um, to not uh, use photos. And I've been working on. I mean, you can see. Can you see behind me? So my fish poster. I'm going to show. Try not to destroy the whiskey. So you can see this fish poster. Some of you might even have it. So they're the kind of pictures I'm using for the field guide. So they're pretty clear. You can see the fish pretty well. Smacking into my whiskey glass again there. Mr. Broobs. I don't know what that is. Okay, they've put the next big Lur Fundraiser event is happening in Weymouth again this year on the 20th of July at the Weymouth Angling Club. Would it be feasible to have a screening the evening before, perhaps? Yeah, I'd be well up for it. I mean, I keep meaning to go along to. I keep meaning to go along to one because for those of you who don't know, like the kind of there was a big lure, which is fishing for small fish, multi-species, and whatever. That was part of a fundraiser for Britain's hidden fishes. And we started the first one off, and the LRF community were phenomenal. I think we raised something like 1,600 quid, something like that. 70 people turned up. It was incredible, and they've kept it ongoing. I think each year they do a different charity, and anyone can join. So, I mean, I'd love to go along. So yeah, it might be a case of that. Although, just looking at my diary, I am actually busy on the 20th, unfortunately, of July. However, that doesn't stop me organising a screening. So yeah, maybe we could do that because I'm sure plenty of Lurf people would do that. So you've put below that I was lucky enough to join you on the butterfly blenny hunt. Will you be releasing a chasing scales from that trip? Yes. So I'm guessing you were one of Ben's mates then, were you? So yeah, that is actually out in 3 weeks. So it's the last video of the series. So we've done 20 episodes. That is episode 20. So yeah, there will be a video for that. It was a really good video. I'm really proud of that. I think that one will do really well. So yeah, if people don't know, I've got this angling series on the channel called Chasing Scales, and each week I try and catch a different species of fish, and the goal is to try and get 100 different species of fish in the UK. I'd like to catch them all on rod and line. Sometimes it's kind of just filming them or aquariums or whatever, but most of them are on rod and line. I think my current life list of fish is 73 species, which I think is okay. That's not too bad. So I'm not far off the 100, but I want to get 100 on the camera. So yeah, that was good. They were the LRF guys on that were great. Pegasus Bridge One, great name, has put, what sort of whiskey do you like, Jack? So I to be honest with you, I will drink anything. I mean, if you put toilet duck in a glass, I'd drink it. But my favourite whiskey is single malt Speyside and single malt West Coast. So kind of really smoky whiskey. So Talisker is a big favourite of mine. I love Talisker. Once you get above that, like Ardbeg and what's the other one? Lagavulin and the Freud, that's a little bit too much for me. My hair starts falling out. But Talisker is lovely. But Speyside whiskies I love. But I'll drink any. I'm not too fussed. So yeah, this one is I think it's Avalor. This one Avalor whiskey, which is pretty nice. Oh, that's going down quick. Paul, Jack likes the whiskey that someone else pays for. Oh, cheers, Paul. Yeah, that's my father-in-law trolling me. So yeah, thanks for that, mate. Prick. Fish know the earth's flat. Peace on the plain, brothers and sisters. Yeah, don't know what that means. Good for you, buddy. Whatever keeps you going. Ben Devine has put, how much biological recording do you manage as a result of your filming, Jack? So I guess I get to see quite a few things. I mean, it's unusual that what I do, I'm in the water a lot, so I get to see things that people don't normally get to see. So if I do observe a behaviour that's unusual, then I've got a fairly nice community of other freshwater ecologists and biologists and stuff who I can get in touch with, and can message them and tell them if there's anything unusual. So it depends what I see. Like if I saw something local to me in Nottinghamshire, I might let the county recorder know what I've seen. If it's further afield, I'll let people know. So I do submit biological records for different bits and bobs. It just depends who it is. But I'm not a trained biologist. I would describe myself as a naturalist. So I love wildlife. I love everything. But I've not got any formal education in it. It's basically just been me going out and about, getting muddy and seeing things. And that's what's kind of kept me going. Calvin the Unfindable. I'm far too shy to ask a question. If you can't type a question, that's fine. Whereas this is probably the easiest way to do it, but no worries there anyway. I think unless there's any more questions, that is probably about it. Oh no, what we got? So Pegasus Bridge One's put thoughts on the close season. So the close season, for those who don't know what that is when you stop fishing from, I think it's the 15th, was it March 15th to June 16th or something like that? It's sort of a period of time where you don't fish. And it used to be everywhere. Now it's really only for rivers for coarse fish. You can still fish rivers for trout, and you can still fish some lakes and canals. Me personally, I think it's a good thing because it gives the fish a rest. It's not perfect and it is flawed in some ways because different fish spawn at different times. So, for example, before March 15th, dace are spawning, pike are spawning. So people are catching those fish as they're getting ready to spawn. And likewise, at the end of the season, you get, like where I live near the River Trent, Nottingham. Regularly on June 16th, you see barbels still spawning. And, the responsible thing to do would be to leave those barbel alone for a week or two. But your anglers are just itching to catch them. The best way to do it would be to have localized close seasons. So maybe you leave it up to the river keeper, the local fishing club, and they decide when the rivers close. The trouble with that is that's ripe for being abused and taken advantage of. So in an ideal world, you would have a closed season that is, you might be able to hear my dogs barking. You might be able to have a closed season that is dictated by the fishing club, but that would be tricky. So I think it's not perfect having the blanket rule of a closed season, but I think it's better than nothing. So in general, I'm in favour of it. I always remember going to a carp fishery years ago, and I was filming on a river next to this carp fishery, and this guy caught a fucking stonking carp, massive. And as soon as he picked it up, he put his hand under its belly, and it started pissing eggs out, loads and loads of eggs. And I just thought, really, if the fish are spawning, leave them be. And hats off actually that a lot of big carp fisheries generally they will stop for a week or two when the fish spawn because you don't want to disturb them spawning. But it's a tricky one. Okay, great. So we've got how do you figure out what story you want to tell with your footage? Do you ever abandon an idea for a film? Yeah, you can do. So basically, it comes down to sort of three things: is can I kind of make money from it? Which I know sounds a bit commercial, but it is my job. So can I sell this story? Is the first one. The second thing is is there a story to tell? Like, is there something that I think people will be interested in? And then the third one is, do I want to do it? Which I know might sound a little bit kind of obnoxious, but like if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. But it depends. And yeah, you do abandon stuff. So like for Britain's Hidden Fishes, for example, we really wanted to do basking sharks. Really, really, really wanted to get basking sharks in that film. And I went up to Col in the Hebrides, went there for a week, didn't see one. Spent a lot of money on that, and we didn't see anything, which was absolutely gutting. And it's not easy for me to just pop up there again. So yeah, we had to kind of stop that. I am actually going to go to Mull this year in August for a few days, and I'm fingers crossed see a basking shark then, because that is my number one species to see. In the maybe at tuna as well. I'd love to see bluefin tuna. I've not seen those yet, but they would both be absolutely brilliant. Um, I be a what? I be a wall. I'm not sure what that one is. I love these names on YouTube; they're great. Any new news on Burbot reintroduction? Okay, so I was speaking to Norfolk Rivers Trust the other day. They're the guys who are really pushing to get Burbot back in the UK. I can't reveal too much because it's all very hush hush. Essentially, progress is a slow grind. Is the kind of easiest way to put it. Um, there was a feasibility study done on the River Wissey in Norfolk. There is no reason why we can't have Burbot in there. So it's not an ecological reason, it's more of a bureaucratic reason. I don't want to go too much into it because I have to be careful what I say, but we could have Burbot tomorrow in England and they would be fine, they would survive, they would breed. There are other things at play that are slowing the cogs down. I would love to see them back, and I am hopeful. I think that eventually, when we start wading through bureaucracy, we will eventually get Burbot back into the UK, and Norfolk is probably the best and makes the most sense to do that first. So I think it will happen. If it is going to happen, hopefully in the next couple of years. Although I've been saying that for the last 4 or 5 years, it's always in 2 years' time. So I try and support Norfolk Rivers Trust as much as I can because they are working really, really hard and they do want to get Burbot back. But it's a slow grind. So there's not been any major developments that I can say publicly yet. But they're still working on it. They still want to do it. So fingers crossed we will get Burbot back into Britain. As many of you know, Burbot are a favourite fish. In fact, you might even be able to see. Hang on. There we go. That is a little Burbot print that I've got there. So I do have a soft spot for Burbot. So fingers crossed we can get Burbot back into Britain. Well, look, if that's everything, I think I'll love you and leave you. It was a relatively short YouTube live, just essentially to say hello. Thank everyone for their support in watching the YouTube videos and enjoy. Hopefully, you're enjoying it. I might try and do more YouTube lives if there's an interest, or if there's any kind of pressing interest. But yeah, essentially, I hopefully will do more screenings for Britain's Hidden Fishes. We'll try and get some more organised. And yeah, keep your eyes on the channel. There'll be lots more stuff coming out. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. I'm gonna finish this off now.